Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. You should all be used to this by now. Standard Chartered, a leading international bank, has dropped a daring price prediction for Bitcoin in its latest forecast. According to a report by Reuters, Bitcoin is expected to reach 50,000 US dollars over the course of this year and potentially go to 120,000 US dollars by the end of next year. Quoting Jeff Kendrick, a top financial analyst at Standard Chartered, Kendrick has predicted a 100,000 Bitcoin by the end of next year. However, in the latest review, he argues that there is a 20% upside to that projection. Yes, welcome back once again to everyone talking about where Bitcoin is going to be going. I told you there would be a continued avalanche of news like this over the course of this year. These are going to continue. There are a lot of different companies and analytic firms and analyzers and analysts on Twitter, on the interwebs, all over the place, who are trying to figure out where cryptocurrency prices are going. The halving is going to continue to be the biggest news story that we have, probably until then, unless another FTX 2.0 actually ends up happening, which we can only hope does not happen because people completely lost their minds for no actual reason. The idea, once again, being that as the halving happens, and we have seen historically in the last couple of other halvings, Bitcoin's price moves up as we get closer to the halving in anticipation of there being less Bitcoin being made. We have seen that the amount of Bitcoin being accumulated has continued to rise more and more all the time. The amount of new people entering the Bitcoin market continues every single day. The amount of people who are already holding Bitcoin continues to rise, as well as a number of people are buying Bitcoin and are not selling it, as the expectations are by the time we get to around 2025, people are expecting a 200, 300,000, 400 question mark, $1,000 Bitcoin roughly around that time. The idea is that, and this is one of the more conservative numbers that we see for this year. If we do end up getting or especially multiple Bitcoin ETFs approved over the course of this year, we would probably be looking at a $50,000 to a $70,000 Bitcoin by the time we get to December. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. This is what the market has been waiting for a long time. Why do I say that? Because these will not be the first Bitcoin ETFs that exist. There are multiple other countries that already have physical Bitcoin ETFs. We went over them in one other video, and I also, as always, link the articles in the description below for everyone to be able to read them. I forgot which video it was. This was a couple of months ago or weeks ago, I don't remember. There was it was a number of charts where we saw that the other countries around the world who actually have Bitcoin ETFs already, they have tens of thousands of Bitcoin that have been accumulated, but for some reason that means absolutely nothing to the vast majority of people out there, and everyone's simply waiting for a US-based Bitcoin ETF. And the idea is, even in general, Bitcoin's price would rise. We get to 2024. The anticipation ends up going up even higher. The halving ends up happening. Everyone loses their minds as if they didn't know it was going to happen 24 hours before. And by the end of 2024, that would basically mean a 4x for Bitcoin's price, a brand new all-time high by the end of next year. It says, according to Standard Chartered, the anticipated price increase is because people who are mining Bitcoin, who create roughly around 900 new Bitcoin every day worldwide, would need to sell fewer of them to meet their expenditures. A lot of people forget that if you are mining Bitcoin, you have energy costs. You got to keep the lights on, so you have to sell some of your Bitcoin. But that is, we know mathematically how much it costs to create a Bitcoin. I don't have the exact numbers here. There are websites. You can Google it. How much does it cost to create an entire Bitcoin? You'll see and of course varies around the world depending on how cheap or inexpensive or expensive your electricity cost actually ends up being. If it costs $25,000 to make an entire Bitcoin and Bitcoin's price is $30,000, well, therefore you are making a hefty profit, or a $5,000 profit on top of it. However, if your costs are $25,000 per month to create a Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, well, guess what? You're making an even more immense amount of money, and therefore you have to sell off less Bitcoin into the market to be able to meet your costs every single month. Furthermore, Kendrick noted that all Bitcoin mining companies who sold 100% of their brand new coins, but if Bitcoin reached $50,000, they would only be selling 20 to 30% of their inventory. The financial expert further stated that the decrease in selling would mean people who are mining Bitcoin previously selling 328,000 Bitcoin would cut the sale to 65,000 Bitcoin, resulting in a net supply drop of around 250,000 BTC. For clarification as well, a lot of people years ago used to try and scare the market by saying every time a new Bitcoin is created, these people are selling it onto the market. I don't understand why logic doesn't hit people. These people who are mining Bitcoin, they're mining it for themselves. These people aren't spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create these operations to mine 50 Bitcoin themselves to simply sell it onto the market. No, they're holding a huge portion of what they're doing because they believe that Bitcoin's price is also going to go to $500,000 to $1 million per coin, and or simply be a worldwide currency at some point, and they simply won't have to sell at all. And even more so, there are a number of companies. We don't hear about this as much anymore. I think it's rather more hush-hush. A lot of the coins that do get sold by these mining companies actually simply goes to another company. So the expectation was years ago, you're selling, you've minted 10 Bitcoin, you're selling all 10 Bitcoin onto the market to whatever, which is not the case because these companies are keeping some Bitcoin for themselves. However, what they do decide to sell to be able to pay their electricity is usually bought up by some other rich companies somewhere else, or rich individuals who are like, cool, I don't want these coins to go to the market. They will simply go into my Bitcoin wallet. This is why this idea of these massive amounts of cryptocurrencies like flooding into the market is also nonsense. I saw an article a couple of days ago, rolled my eyes once again, because the idea is that at some point we will also get back to the Mt. Gox coins being given back to the people who are owed them, and these people will eventually sell them onto the market. These people made deals with other companies years ago. If you sell your coins, sell them to me. So these coins never actually end up hitting the market. This isn't some some young, inexperienced market. The people, when I say that cryptocurrencies are being manipulated and controlled, it's by the big boys. It's by the people who are protecting their investments. They're not just letting anything happen but by chance or by happenstance. No, they control everything because they understand exactly how this market is. All tying directly loosely into this news, Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal is expecting Ethereum to hit a brand new all-time high before the end of this year. In a new blog post, the former Goldman Sachs executive says that a strong performing NASDAQ 100 NDX is likely to hit a brand new all-time high within 5 months along with Ether. He said, "We think the NDX may get to a new all-time high by November. The same applies to Ether. The NDX continues to outperform current liquidity conditions. This also happens to be in the past 2019, for example. You can't hold a beach ball underwater for long. The NDX will always tend to outperform." For reference, that would literally be nearly $5,000 Ether if that ends up happening. I mentioned before, it is very nice to see the amount of optimism that has re-entered into the market. I do actually wonder where prices are going to go. You can kind of feel in the air that everyone's expecting prices to go up, but a lot of analysts have stated before that this is going to be kind of like a crazy bull run. Like, there's a lot of pent-up tension from 2021 that was never really released because of all the other stuff that we were going through and some of the things that are still happening. But I've seen $15,000, $20,000 Ethereum price predictions. I don't know if we're going to be able to go that high, but I mean, also, I couldn't have foreseen any of the prices that we have now back in 2015, 2016. But it has to mainly do, once again, with the Bitcoin ETFs. I think there's so much energy being stockpiled into these ETF applications that a lot of people are kind of, I think, losing their mind when it comes to the idea of where prices are going to go. If we hit a $5,000 Ether by the end of this year, before Bitcoin's halving has even taken place, that would, especially if Bitcoin's price is expected to be $50,000 by the end of this year and basically double and then some by 2024. For those of you who missed that news and also the other video, because every single day these rich people are like, yeah, the prices are going to go crazy. That would literally equate to a $9,000 to $12,000 Ethereum by the end of 2024. That's before, for those of you who missed it, that's before we even get to the pinnacle insanity 2025 bull run. Does that mean that we're going to have a $17,000 Ethereum? Like, where do all these, I'm more of a gigantic question mark. Like, where does this lead us as a market? How high will we end up going? So, as always, every single day, the amount of wealthy individuals who continue to throw out these numbers is basically once again a mimic of 2019, of everyone talking about where prices are going to go, what have you, so on and so forth. So exciting times ahead. Just more of a, at least there's optimism. I prefer optimism in the market than people being like, oh no, Bitcoin go down to $6,000 again. All right, let's move on. In question mark news, two founders of the bankrupt crypto hedge fund known as Three Arrows Capital, or 3AC, will be donating their future earnings to creditors or people who lost their money after their implosion last year. One of them, known as Kyle Davies, said on Monday in a Twitter Spaces hosted by Mario Nafwal, Davies described the plan as a shadow recovery process outside the ongoing liquidation proceedings that are trying to recover value from the bankrupt company and distribute it to people who are owed money. In fact, some early creditors have already been made whole. Wonderful. The failed hedge fund manager said he and his co-founders believed in karma. And that any of their extra donations would supplement any recoveries through the formal process. The comments might be taken with not even a grain of salt, a grain of sand by the crypto community and creditors who are still nursing losses from the epic collapse. They said, and I quote, or someone said, the founders of Three Arrows Capital have willingly ignored multiple requests to assist with this process after initiating the liquidation themselves. And the court records paint a clear picture of the way in which they have hindered creditor recoveries. A spokesperson for Nano, the Three Arrows Capital liquidator, said in an email to CoinDesk. I would put this in cringe news simply because I have seen that there have been a number of other cryptocurrency companies recently who have allegedly lost and or stolen customer funds and or simply filed for bankruptcy, while a number of the people who were using their platforms ended up losing money. And now to hear, and I say this in the nicest way, to say that they believe in karma, basically meaning, well, we have to do right by the people who lost money with us. I kind of shrug and I go, don't you think you should have done that before? Did you all just now start believing in karma, or was it before when you were allegedly mismanaging company customer funds? Did the karma come after you bought a $15 million house in Thailand, or was it before all of that happened? Or is it now because people are angry with you? This is very, very similar to the news that we got about 4 or 5 months ago from Do Kwon, the head of Terra Luna, who announced that he was feeling bad for everything that was happening, and that for those of you who missed it, he said that he was going to try and relaunch Terra Luna to make sure that people got some of their investments back. And I was like, so you want to relaunch the scam to re-scam people to give them scam money back? For those of you who also missed it, this was also the situation with Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah, don't forget that one. Where after everything had collapsed, he came forward and was like, you know what? I think we're going to try and this is before, for those of you who missed it, FTX, the crypto exchange, the one that completely collapsed and imploded, is already trying to relaunch. Red flag. This is even before they announced this. Sam Bankman-Fried months ago said that he already wanted to relaunch FTX in an effort for people to use it again, for him to get their trading and transfer fees as they're on the platform, and then using that money to pay people back. The audacity is palpable. You normally can't touch audacity, but you can feel it all around you right now. It's this really weird, people get so rich and they don't understand the stuff that they're saying is so cringy. It's absolutely out of control. To think that you could be in a situation where, this is my opinion, you have allegedly lost people millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're like, you know what? It's totally fine. We now believe in karma, and we're going to make sure that we help everyone out there. You know that people trusted you before, and they did. This is why I keep saying, when all these things keep popping up in the cryptocurrency space, I try to mention them once or twice in the video. I'm not going to be one of those crazy crypto YouTubers who has those weird videos where they're banging on tables and they're screaming at you and all that. No. I am not a genius. I simply am not. However, so many of these things are just blatantly scams, especially all the DeFi stuff that was popping up over the course of the last couple of years. I let you understand in the video, there is no company who can guarantee you 27, 35, 49, 56, 87% return in a year. It is literally not possible. You would have seen that before cryptocurrencies and these companies ended up launching. And every single time that one of them collapses, I make sure to tell you immediately, take your money out of that platform if you happen to be there, if you didn't listen to what I was saying before, because I know it's very enticing. But the dirty, gross icing on the cake is always when these people come back and they go, you know what, we're going to make sure that any future money that we make from the relaunch of our product or the relaunch of this, who are the other people? I don't know if it was 3 Arrows Capital. There was another company that imploded last year who announced that they were trying to relaunch under a different name, and they were trying to raise tens of millions of dollars, and they did it. By that Friday, people had given them, I think, $20 million to relaunch something. And I'm like, are you people crazy? What don't you understand about these people don't care about you? What are you not getting? That these people care nothing about you or your family. They're trying to make themselves richer. They are the only thing that matters in this equation. You are a tiny player who feeds them. It's insane. It's absolutely out of this world. So cool. Yeah, this is not the last company who's going to announce this, say something like this. They try and save face. They try and go public and say, you know, we really messed up, guys, but we won't do it again. We're going to make sure that the next time you give us $100 million, this will be, you know, we learned from last time, but other people who invest with them never learn. Think of BitConnect. I will never, ever forget when people started putting their money back inside of BitConnect after it collapsed. So anyway, that's the 3 Arrows Capital founders, at least 2 of them, have announced that they now believe in karma and that they're going to try and make sure that things are better next time. So yeah, when we have another company who ends up collapsing, I give it about good I was going to say 6 weeks. I give it like the end of summer. Let's say September, somewhere around there. September, mid-September. We'll have the news once again. So as always, please take care of where your money is. I know a lot of these companies seem enticing. I know people get riled up for some reason when they see a rich person standing on stage saying that they're going to give them money. There was a company years ago that, like, there are documentaries made about this. I won't say the name, but they were quite prevalent around the world. This company said that they had a cryptocurrency. They did not even have a chain, no blockchain, no intention of making one either. Other companies like this have begun to pop up. The thing that you can all do for the sake of karma is a lot of your friends are going to be getting into garbage over the next cryptocurrency bull run. Just try and warn them. Like, tell them, hey, what you're getting into isn't real. There's a high chance that you could lose your money. There's no blockchain. There's no this. This is not guaranteed. You will not do this. You buying $100 of Pepe 9.0 may not make you a multi-millionaire. So yeah, that's actual good karma. Like, help people before when you see that they're getting into garbage, because, right. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, and or subscribing. I think that's the last one. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.